This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 4, Episode 11, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Pigskin and Pizza Tours. Yes, they are coming soon, very soon. I'll have tickets up soon, so go to monumentalthoughts.com, look for tickets. I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the Hogstein Network for audio and for video here on the mighty YouTube. All right, let's talk a little bit of football before they go away. Washington football team is having OTAs this week, and then next week, middle of June, is a minicamp where you have to come. And then they're taking a break because the coach thought they did so well. He cut short a week of offseason. And I haven't heard the official start of training camp yet, but I'm hearing it's July 28th. Maybe that's the report date. Haven't heard exactly where they're going to be. I'm hearing Richmond for a short time. The NFL has now said that fans can come. So if you're out there, stay tuned. You might get to come to training camp after all.
Well, and we got the 100% capacity at FedEx this year too.
Yeah, and 100% out in the fields of Ashburn if you want to.
Yeah.
There's no park anymore. When they used to have training camp around, they used to park in the fields around the camp. Those are now these humongous warehouses for internet servers.
Yep.
I mean, turned Ashburn into an industrial complex. Looks awful. But anyway, people have asked, who do you like? Who have you seen? Who's great? I did go to one and so far, and these are just drills and stretching and this and that. There's not a lot to see. People ask me about Samus Reyes all the time. They think I don't know what it is. People just love these underdog stories, I guess. I think he's probably a practice squad player. I think he has potential. Certainly a big dude. He has decent instincts, but you just don't walk into the NFL like this. And they seem to be acquiring tight ends by the group full.
Yeah,
so,
they just signed a veteran. Who did they sign? Ricky Seals-Jones, right?
Yeah, they've got a few now.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with trying to have more camp competition. And I think that puts Samus really on practice squad for at least a year, and to just see if he has any real football skills or not. You can't tell on a practice field something like that.
Well, yeah, and that's what the preseason's for. I mean, we're only getting 3 preseason games this year, but throw him out there, let him see some live bullets. I mean, let's see what he's got. I mean, but yeah, he's a Marcus Mason. He's along the lines of those guys where he's going to be, the fans' number one guy. Why isn't he playing? Oh, if he was out there, he would catch 100 touchdowns type guy. But this is a kid that's transitioning, has never played football a day in his life. But I'll give him this: he's putting the work in. By all accounts, he was after practice, after, OTAs, he was going out there for a half hour, catching balls off the jugs machine. I mean, he's putting in the work, but that's the work that he needs to put in. Also, I think, Logan Thomas's emergence last year is what is kind of giving a lot of people hope, saying, hey, they brought in this guy who's 6'7". He reminds us of Antonio Gates. He played basketball. He's got the skills. And Logan obviously converting from quarterback to tight end. I think that's going to give a lot of people expectations that the kid can't meet yet.
Logan Thomas, I would say if he's on your fantasy team, are there still fantasy teams out there, or is everybody just betting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Straight to gambling on the games. And why would you bet on fantasy ball if you can just bet on games with all the options they're doing? But whatever, that's your problem. But I would say I think Logan's going to have less catches this year because they have more options.
Right.
And you have a quarterback.
Yep.
And he was kind of a safety valve on so many ways that's not going to be this offense this year.
Yeah.
So Ryan Fitzpatrick came out kind of like, dad's here now.
Yeah.
I think he's 38, and I don't know. I don't have grand expectations of Ryan. And not that I dislike him or anything, but he's never really played regularly in 16 years. There's a reason for that. So, I think he gets the opening day, but if he can't work it out, I think they go to another quarterback. Heineke was supposed to be able to compete for the camp. That's why he signed. I'd be interested to see what he does.
Yeah.
So, they have minicamp next week, which is really more of a telltale. You can push on each other a little more. Here you can't even wear pads on things. So, so many guys, it's hard to tell. It's like the deep ball guy that they drafted, receiver. None of these drills let me see what he can really do.
Were you surprised by Morgan Moses and Jerron Christian getting cut?
Not on Christian. I thought he was a bust.
Yeah.
Just from when he's talking about, I didn't really try as hard as I should have this year.
Well, there you go, dude.
To leave. I was surprised about Morgan, and how I'm only glad he's gone because I won't say Moses all the time wrong.
Yeah, that was your number one stumper, man. There's so many times Rick would call it Moses Morgan.
Every time. I haven't done that since Richard Stanley or whatever. Every time I have to say his name right. But I keep thinking he's not named Moses for a first name.
Well, and it's very interesting to me that I have not heard anything about him getting picked up yet.
Yeah, it's a weird time of year because now everybody's finishing up. Everybody's taking a month off. And I think he may go into camps waiting, camp season waiting. And, injuries always come up too, that kind of thing. So he'll find a home, but I bet it's August before he does.
What's the plan? I mean, is Leno going to be left tackle and Cosme's going to play right? I mean, what do you think the plan is?
I think this is the really interesting part of this team is the line. I think Leno's first up on left tackle, but I think Sadiq Charles may end up being a left guard. Wait a minute. I thought Eric Flowers was going to be left guard. Now, you can't have enough good linemen, and I'm not sure how many good linemen they have. And I guess Cosme's going to go to the right side. But I think there's a lot of questions of where this line kind of goes around. So, Sheriff is still there, and you still have your center, but Rouillet. But I think three spots are totally in flux. And you need. I haven't really seen Leno play a whole lot, so I don't know if he can protect Ryan. You got an older quarterback who has some mobility.
I was going to say, but he's way more mobile than Alex. You got to remember that. And, that's the thing, too, when you were going back to Logan Thomas's numbers are going to go down because, when Alex Smith was in there, obviously, it was a one route read and then dump it off to Logan Thomas and just see what he can do because he didn't have the arm strength. I mean, Ryan's got the arm strength. Ryan's going to put the ball up. That's why we talked about he's a gunslinger. He's going to go out there and throw a lot of 50-50 balls, and he's going to give you a lot of games where he's throwing for 500 yards and 4 picks and losing you the game, but then he's going to turn around and throw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, and they have the playmakers on the outside. That for me is going to be the most interesting battle throughout training camp and going into the preseason is this wide receiver group. This wide receiver group is stacked. Now, which ones emerge? That's going to be the question. You can pretty much bank on Diami, McLaurin, and Samuel, but where's everybody else fit into that? You're only going to keep it a max 6, and you've got probably 13, 14 wide receivers on this team, and I would say probably 8 or 9 of them that could possibly make the team in the past.
Well, this is how you get to be a great team with this kind of competition and depth, which they haven't had in years.
That's why I shot down a lot of the rumors saying that Washington was a landing spot for Julio Jones. I don't believe he is. I think Ron likes what he has, and that draft capital and that money can go somewhere else.
And especially Ertz is coming loose from Philadelphia. And nothing else, if he doesn't torment the Redskins twice a year.
I know. I would love to have Zach Ertz as much as he scored on us.
Just to not have him against you is a plus.
Right.
Of the division. I could see him going to Dallas.
Don't say that.
Well, I'm just saying. And it's, but Fitzpatrick you make him sound like Sexy Rexy is coming back.
Nah, he's a little bit better than Grossman.
Oh, Grossman went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, with a monster defense. And guess what? They lost.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember something about that. So it's going to be interesting, for the next couple of weeks, just to see if there's any hints. But I think the coach will be a little different coaching this year, a little more aggressive. I've already seen that a little bit. He's not afraid to make moves. I mean, usually you make some moves your first year and you change 20 players on a typical year. But year 2 is when you really you make a move. And that's what he's showing. It's like, I don't want Kerrigan. Kerrigan signed for a bag of balls over in Philadelphia. Yeah. His deal is nothing. It was a minimal deal, basically. Now you get rid of Morgan. It just shows you that, he's willing to just start flipping people.
Yeah.
Got rid of the deep snapper. I mean, what was that about?
Yeah, he got rid of one of the best players on our special teams. But going back to that Super Bowl, you will never forget. I will never forget this Super Bowl. It was Colts Bears. It was in Miami, and I only remember it because of the halftime show. It was Prince. He sang "Purple Rain" while it was raining.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
One of the best halftime shows ever.
Purple Rain is where you turn up the volume all the way in the car.
In a car, shoot. That's why I have a 7.1 surround sound system in my house.
That is, but okay. This Saturday is the Belmont Stakes, and since I do talk horse racing a little bit, follow me on my Twitter, Snide_remarks, because it's hard to pick the races a week ahead or whatever, days ahead. But I do like Essential Quality, who was the favorite in the Derby. I thought he was a tired horse entering the Derby. I didn't pick him, and he didn't run that well. But he's had 5 weeks off since then, and I think he could be the one. It's not a great race anyway. Hot Rod Charlie and Known Agenda. So check in Friday on my Twitter or Saturday. Make sure on there. And
we had different winners for the Derby and the Preakness. There's no chance around this race, so it's kind of the afterthought at this point.
Right. I don't know that either of them will be in the Belmont. Belmont's a really weird race. It's a 1.5 miles, which is the longest U.S. race for major stakes. It's basically you jog for a mile and sprint for a half mile.
Yeah.
I've covered too many of them. So it's interesting, but this year no one cares. And before we go, hey, so my tours are starting, not just the Pigskin and Pizza tours, which are coming up soon. You do want to go to those if you're a big Washington football fan, because I'll answer anything that doesn't get me in a courtroom, talk about players or whatever. And we're going to eat pizza, and you pay for your own beer because you guys will break me. But we'll do that, and we're going to walk for about 15 minutes, pretend it's a walking tour. But I've got the Georgetown and the Embassy Row and all these things. People ask me all the time, how can it come? Just go to monumentalthoughts.com. Goldstar.com sells the tickets. They're not that expensive.
Still trying to talk Rick into a ghost tour.
No, boo to that. And assassination's coming back. So I don't know who's going on tour this year. I just did my first one in about 18 months. So, it's just people want to go have fun. I don't blame you. You want to go to the beach or somewhere fun. You don't want to go see some dusty old monuments. I get it. But if you're stuck here, come see me on tour. We'll do all that. Otherwise, I guess we got to get going.
Hey, real quick, going back to the Belmont, didn't you say that's where they're building the new Islander Stadium?
Yeah, right there on the grounds.
Cool.
It's like, it's probably, there's a train station there. I think you could walk between the arena and the Belmont less than 5 minutes.
Huh. That's
right. It's sort of like the United Stadium and the Nats. I don't even know if it's that far apart.
Yeah.
So it'll be different. You see a little hockey, see a little horses, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
How your Pens doing?
Pens are eliminated, just like the Capitals.
I was gone for a week, so I didn't catch up with it.
Both teams are slow and old. A lot of changes coming to both teams.
Hey, slow and old is not the worst thing in the world.
Well, it is for a hockey team.
All right, we got to get out of here. I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.